are live.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome to Spawn Respawn, and this is day 2 of PAX Australia. Jeez Louise, if anyone tuned into the stream yesterday, you may have found us in a somewhat delicate condition. We were
I don't think you were delicate, man.
I wasn't delicate. No, not at all. I was definitely, I think all of us, we're having a good time, as you generally would tend to do on the first night of a
Jesus
very
Christ.
large gaming convention, I should say.
Yes.
But yes, so we were a little bit rusty this morning. We may have gotten there a little bit late to day 2.
We did have pancakes though. That was good.
We did.
I did have some good pancakes.
Yes. We tried to indulge in what Melbourne had to offer in terms of the beautiful food and restaurants and whatnot. But yes, we are absolutely having a blast in Melbourne, and PAX Day 2. So, holy crap, what did we get up to today?
Not as much as yesterday, that's for sure.
That is for sure. I think we were somewhat impeded, were we not?
Oh, I mean...
Okay.
Okay, we were.
Yeah.
Kat was.
You old men.
Yeah, Kat is a responsible young lady who, just went to bed on time.
Yeah, well, I still went to bed a bit later, but I'm not as wicked as you bad boys.
Oh,
so.
nah. But anyway, yeah. So we definitely felt it today. We learnt our lesson, and tonight we're going to get a good night's sleep so we can go and see much, much more things for the final day of PAX. But today,
It's going to be big, dudes.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be loaded, and I hope you are prepared.
Oh, of course we're
Definitely.
prepared. We're going to put our video skills to the test and shoot some actual interviews.
Yes.
Today we G'd a lot of the interviews up, and we had the opportunity to check out a lot of the indie developers' titles that they were showing off there. We couldn't help ourselves. There were some really great offerings there, and a lot of those games were actually made in Australia, which is awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of those games were actually made in Melbourne.
In Melbourne, of all places, which is really cool because there's a lot of support from the government to create this sort of digital titles here in Australia, which I think is pretty cool.
I was really surprised that Goose Game wasn't there. Like,
Yeah.
'cause
Did you see the sign outside that was like,
blown up.
no geese allowed?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. You'd think there'd be more memes about the geese around, but yeah, they weren't there. Which is that was developed in Melbourne as well, right?
Yeah.
100%.
And I don't know, that's so
I
weird
think-
because it's obviously just come out, but like, it's blowing up massively,
Yeah.
and it wasn't there at all. So interesting.
Yeah, a little
Well, I
bit
don't think
strange.
they expected it to be
Yeah.
that large. They
Yeah, true.
potentially didn't plan to head along at all either, so
Maybe, yeah.
that could
Yeah.
be something. That could be a little something.
A little something. But
Little
yeah,
something,
we did get the chance to check out some other big titles as well. I think, Elliot, you checked out a little bit of Avengers,
I
which
did.
we'll get to a little bit
Yeah,
later.
have some thoughts.
Yeah.
Some new info though, which is kind of cool. But,
Oh, right.
Dank.
but still, I'm iffy on that game.
Yeah. If you've heard any of our other episodes, we didn't...
You would know.
Yeah. We us and many other people don't seem to be really vibing with the Avengers title from Square Enix, which is a bit crazy. But what did we get up to today?
The first thing we did was we went to our first appointment with Eldon.
Yes. That was awesome.
One Rat Games, is that the developer's name? I think his
Yeah.
name is
You're
Dylan.
telling me, dude.
His name was Dylan, yeah.
He was a good dude. Really cool dude. Really awesome game too.
Yeah.
Like, how would you describe it? Souls-like, almost pixel
art,
Pixel,
Souls.
isometric.
Yeah.
I think there's a game called Titan Souls.
Okay.
And it's a bit more zoomed out. So I guess if you zoomed in on that aesthetic, but kept the more Souls-like gameplay. I'll put those two together.
Yeah.
It was
Pretty sick.
the animations and stuff, just like full throwback to like kind of mid-90s games. Like the way the character moves and like that weird intro bit where like her eyes go weird. Like it showed like a really quick cutscene, but
Where a
just the
character gets
animation and the
absorbed
lighting
into
and
the
everything.
floor.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And I guess your quest is to go find
I think
this
it's
character that got
your
absorbed into
mother.
the floor.
Yeah.
Because
Bye, Mom.
he was saying when I was talking to him that like the whole thing is kind of inspired by him moving out of home at a very young age and kind of having to learn like just having to like being thrown into the deep end essentially and just having to kind of learn to adapt and everything like that.
Figure it out on your own.
That's why
I did overhear that's why everything's written in a language you can't understand.
Yeah.
And that like when you read a book, it's all got imagery in there, so you can see things and you can kind of try and get a bit of knowledge.
Yeah.
Like one of the first things I picked up was a piece of paper, and it had this giant tentacly Cthulhu picture at the top.
Yeah.
And then it had a picture of a little shadow dude, and then like an arrow and a big shadow dude, and some text, I think, that you can't read because it's just in a fake language, so no one's going to read it. I was like, I get the big because of Cthulhu? I was like, so what does this mean to me?
It's very much about exploration and trying to figure out the context of where you're at through the environment. And I was talking to Dylan, the developer, and it turns out that language that's there is actually a one-for-one like copy of English. You can just swap it out. Like if you figure out what each of them
pattern,
are, if you I guess put the time in to translate it, it's possible to do it.
Yeah,
and he mentioned that all of those things are descriptions of environments, like they are actual hints.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
it's
sick.
This extra layer to the game that, to be honest, not very many people would dive into. However, that I guess the community aspect of sharing information about the game would result in people telling translating it for you.
Did you guys ever play Fez?
Yeah,
it has. It has a similar thing in it as well. Like there's some bits that are in a language that's not English, and they're clues as well.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like a puzzle thing that you can figure out, and you can go and find that translation online anyway.
If you can translate it,
if you can translate it yourself, or you can just go and look it up, sort of thing. So,
that's very cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think
the art style.
Yeah, I loved it.
Sweet.
Yeah,
you didn't find the bonfire mechanic though.
No, I didn't. I also didn't finish the demo.
I didn't finish the demo either.
Smashed.
It was tricky. It was if it's Dark Souls inspired, it's definitely difficult.
I didn't finish the demo not because I was dying. There was a bit that I died on where there was like these ghosts that were firing balls at me, and I was like, what the fuck? I died to them a few times though, and it did similar to Dark Souls 2, where it starts making it less difficult. Like I didn't have to stand on the pressure plate anymore. The gate was already open.
Oh, really?
The first dude was dead, and I only had to fight the other 3 dudes, sort of thing, which was really cool. But I stopped playing the demo there because I didn't know where to go. I'd gone around in circles, and I went through the whole map, and I just must be a giant idiot. There was a gate that I couldn't get through, but I was like, there's only one pressure plate that I've come across. How the frick do I get down that gate? So I stopped playing. But I would definitely enjoy that game as a whole.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and we're definitely going to try and actually get a video interview with him tomorrow.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool.
As a matter of fact, because it's so worth showing off. Like this, when we're just talking about this cool pixel art style, you've got to look at it. Again, we can't really get it across.
If you've ever played Another World, it's super like Another World.
And just real quick, hello Riley Raj.
Riley Raj, how are you, man? It's super. The animation is so much like Another World, and that's such a beautiful old game. And was this coming to every platform? I think it was.
Look, I was really involved in playing the game, so
I
probably should have taken notes.
I can't remember, but was it February 2020?
Yeah, that sounds
I think it's coming out.
Right.
Yeah. I think he said it's coming to the 3 consoles and PC. So.
And what else is interesting, I guess, despite the tropes of Dark Souls, is that it doesn't include a XP system, which means it doesn't include grinding, because he just says
had all the weapons and stuff.
I
like to play around.
Did you get the stabby spear?
Yeah.
If you walk back at the start.
Backwards, and then an axe.
Yeah.
And the sword.
Yeah.
And
I liked the sword.
Dylan, the developer, mentioned he just absolutely hates grinding, and he said it can impede progress and impede, I guess, forming a full understanding of the environment and the world. Yeah. Which I thought was you know what, cool. And he also mentioned it's about making people want to play an indie game, right? Because if you've ever listened to the podcast, you've probably heard me be I'm not really interested in indies.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, and I thought it was a good tactic that he used there. He's talking about grabbing people early and keeping their attention by just consistently introducing new concepts without having an air of repetition.
Yeah,
and I thought that was that's a clever idea.
And he said the game was only about 4 hours long. I think.
Nice and short.
Yeah.
There's this another game that I've played a lot of called Moon Hunters. Completely different type of storytelling. But it's very similar in the art direction, that it's kind of like the isometric view, pixel art sort of thing. It reminded me a lot of that in the gameplay, because in Moon Hunters you have your attack and you have like 2 spells or something sort of thing. And so I was like, this is very, very similar in a gameplay standpoint. Completely different in many ways, but it felt familiar for me, so it was pretty easy to get into.
Yeah, cool.
Whereas I know you had a bit of trouble with it.
Yeah, I just kept getting killed. Then I found all the apple trees, and I was like, oh, I can heal.
Dude, one of the trees gave me 4 apples.
Whoa.
I don't know, like I had 0 apples. I had 0 apples, and then suddenly I had 4, dude.
Dude, 4 apples, man, in Elden,
4
bro.
apples.
Whoa. What is the subtitle? Because it's Elden.
Path of the Forgotten, I think.
Path of the Forgotten?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Check it out, honestly. And yeah, you'll hear more about it. And if you'll see on our YouTube channel, we'll actually go and put in the proper journalistic work. Yeah, we're not journalists. But yes, we will go and do a proper job of that. So
yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure you guys did too.
It was
We'll
great.
probably talk about the next little option there. Oh, yeah. The next thing that we jumped into was a game called Blood Metal.
Yeah.
And you know a game's going to be fun when... Oh, God.
The dude before you goes, it's a bit janky.
Yeah, he's like,
Cool game. It's pretty janky.
Pretty janky though, mate. And I was like,
Jesus, fucking hell.
yeah. And when
Right
you're
to the
speaking
dude's
to
face.
to a like a individual developer, like this dude who's worked on this game, I sat down and I played it, and like it's very much a first person shooter. The one thing I was okay. If you're talking to the developer, do you feel as if you want to find reasons to like it? Like, especially if you're talking to them about it, and you're like, I don't want to be like, wow, this is unfinished. This build is
I don't know, like
short.
From a lot of the devs we talked to today as well, I feel a lot of them, and we'll come to one later on that really had this opinion, but they're looking for that feedback. Like, not only are they looking for what people want included in things, but they're watching to specifically see what goes wrong so that they can fix that up.
Yeah.
Exactly like this Starry Void yesterday, where it broke their game. He was like, you broke it.
How'd you do that shit?
No.
And with Elden as well, like he's taken that all over. Like I think he said he was at PAX West, Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah. I
think. And yeah, I guess for tiny developers or 1-person teams or 2-people teams, it's like it gives them testing opportunities that they wouldn't get usually. Like they obviously don't have a team of people QAing the game.
Literally,
so
the guy that we
I guess like maybe some of the general public don't realize that obviously these are early builds. A lot of the games, like this Starry Void, was still a year away from release. But so what was
Elden, right? Elden was about a year out.
I think he said February.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, dang, dude.
That looked more polished, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, demos can be a lot more polished than the rest of the game as well.
Oh, of course. But like,
Blood Metal, though.
Yes, this is what rolling back to it. It was pretty general fare for an FPS. The fact it was done by one guy was fairly impressive. I think it was done on Unity Engine. One thing I did like was, I guess, some of the most of them, right? Yeah, of course. It did have some pretty cool depth of field effects in terms of like aiming down your gun. The gun looked cool. The way you did it. The enemies were fairly janky, but yeah, I think the lighting was cool. Some of the neon effects that they had in there, but it was very much.
I really liked the
design,
the movement. The design was cool too.
Do we have the cards on the table there?
No, we don't. I checked. That's why I was going like this before.
I'll put it more in my jacket.
But yeah, I really liked the design because the colors were neon and pink and whatever. But the gameplay movement, you do a lot of like peeking and and they're like it was pretty cool.
What were you actually doing in it? Like
literally walking into a place and shooting people.
Okay.
And also your health
lean
bar
mechanics. It was somewhat like it was the same control scheme as Siege, like Rainbow Six Siege. Just
but
leading.
Very leany.
Yeah, and they would just run directly at you. I guess the AI wasn't really there, but still,
also,
I mean, if one dude, I don't want to shit on it,
I did notice.
I can't do that. I can't make that.
I did notice that the health bar was just a number, which was interesting. It was like 19, and then when you got hit, you'd get hit like a couple times, and all this blood would come out. And it would just be like 18, sort of thing. Like, which I don't know if that's for the purpose of the demo, but I think like a different health system is kind of cool. Like I liked it. I was like, oh, you get. It's not like you have this amount of health and bullets take this amount. It's like you have 18 hits, sort of thing. Like I thought that was pretty
cool.
Actual
hit points.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't even recognize that, and I was playing it. So clearly, you're more observant than I am. But with that one, I guess the last thing I want to mention. What was I going to say? Yeah, you know what?
You're not going to mention it?
Yeah, I mean, I did like the logo.
Dude, it does look sick. But the next one,
the email, like the press kit thing, and I was like,
I got the email 3 times, and I was like, what is it?
Yeah, we were like, what the hell is this thing? This sounds ridiculous. But
so I didn't get to see this. So explain this madness
to
me.
Dude, you don't even know, man. And you
don't
need to
even
play
know.
it tomorrow.
You've got to. It was really fun.
So much fun. Okay, so if you've ever played Octodad, and it's all about Octodad being like a game in which you need to control an octopus and try to convince everyone, or at least not raise suspicion that you are a fucking octopus.
I don't
on
know.
land, dude.
Yeah, trying to move around and do all this sort of stuff. It's like that, but the game is based around, I guess, there are these evil robots who want to take over the world, and
you're one of them.
You are one of them, and in order to take over the world, you need to convince human beings that you are a human. So it's like,
I think basically you need to work your way up, basically up the chain to take over the world, sort of thing.
Yeah,
is what it seems like.
And it's so strange. Every conversation that you have to manually move every part of the face and move the tongue as well to be able to speak. It was unlike anything I've ever played.
So
How do you control it?
Okay. All right, so let's just first the story mission first.
Yeah.
So you start off, you get to do some character creation, which I
For
love.
real?
Do too, yeah.
And it was like, what is this? Specify gender and specify melanin. It was really cool.
It uses those terms like that being ultra specific and completely non-human terms. If you know what I mean.
It was really cool. And then the first mission was you have to go on a date with Karen from HR.
Yeah. Or even it's WASD.
Is your tongue.
Yeah, it's your tongue, and you physically move it around, and there are 3 switches in the mouth. And you need to, to create certain syllables. You'll need to move WASD to the point in the mouth, and then you might. You have to hit the button right with the tongue.
So there's 3 buttons: 2 in the top, one at the front, and one at the back, and then one in the bottom middle.
Yeah. So you've got to move it around. Now,
it's hard to press too.
It is. You have to get it just right. And the thing is, you're moving a whole tongue, so it has to actually hit that button. Also, you moving the tongue around,
I have to play this tomorrow.
You moving the tongue around has the opportunity for you to knock your fucking teeth out. Literally,
so
they can fall out of your mouth. It is hilarious. And they
can fall in your mouth. And right, so you've got your screen, you've got your tongue on the left-hand side, and then there's a picture of your face.
Yeah.
And when you knock the teeth out, you see them fall around and jumble around in your mouth as you're talking. It's just like,
oh my god!
And at the very top, there's a suspicion meter. But while you're doing this whole tongue thing, because it has the inside, the mouth cam, as I refer to it, I can't remember specifically.
Tongue cams.
The tongue is in the wrong position. You can really you can mess things up as well. So you've got to, what is cool about this game is it's an exercise in multitasking, because you've got to be doing the WASD to hit the right button, and you've got to move the cheeks and the chin and all that. And then
you have 8 seconds to do each set of instructions, and it counts down. And if you don't do them in time, you get a suspicion out of it.
Yeah.
And occasionally you'll get things like, and I think this is the only one I really experienced it in, is that you can sometimes get a button that isn't green in your mouth, it's red. And if you close your jaw and your tongue's in the wrong spot, you'll just bump your tongue into the red button, and it'll just
what?
Spark out.
Yeah, you can start to blow yourself up, and you'll start to see sparks coming out of the side of your head. And even if your suspicion meter isn't all the way up, it's basically you can see. It looks ridiculous, and
that's so funny.
So, a few little things about this game.
You're fucking good at it, dude. You're fucking amazing at it.
Oh, stop, bro! Stop it, man. Okay, I did kind of smash it a little bit when I was playing it. It was kind of ridiculous, and the guy was just like, "Oh, I mean, if you keep doing good, bro, you're not going to see him explode." So he was like, "Oh, we'll make it harder. We'll make it harder." But okay, we didn't really explain what's happening while you're moving all of this stuff around. So down the bottom, there is you're having a conversation. You're trying to speak with another human being, with Karen in this case, and you're trying to convince them that you are a human being. So you can see the script down below of what you're trying to say, and if you fuck it up, you can see which syllables you didn't get right. So
they'll go orange or red.
And when you're doing it, it's going to be it's going to be making those syllables as you do it, right?
So sometimes 8-second breaks between your syllables.
Yeah.
Hair.
Right.
Low.
Yeah, it's
Like-
ridiculous. Like, yeah. So it was pretty cool the way you can see it. And it gives you like combo systems, and it gives you like honeyed words, like extra points and stuff like that for being able to do it well.
Shakespearean up in the top corner if you get it really.
Are you serious?
It was really, really cool, and it just seems so disjointed and funny. And what was cool is the conversation that you're actually having with Karen. So like you're in this coffee shop with her having a chat, and she says something like, "Something's off, something's different, something's happening." And then he was like, "I assure you, I am no different to any other human being." And it's just like, "I am of average make and build for humanity," or stuff like that. And then she's like, no, something's up. There's definitely an attraction here. Like, and then she turns into you flirting with her, and you've got to try to, play it cool. I mean, you don't choose any of the dialogue options.
No.
It's funny just to have to do all these motions and keep your mind on two things at once, and then also have to follow along with what they're saying. I mean, you don't have to follow along.
It's really hard to hear what he's saying when you're talking as well.
Because you're trying to do so much.
Paying so much attention.
But that's why they give you time. Like, it'll have it down the bottom, and you can have some time, and you can read what you actually said before you click on to the next thing. Yeah. I was just going doosh, doosh, doosh. I was just like joining, jumping on to the next one. But it was really, really fun. So then the dev was just like, you know what? Clearly this isn't enough for you.
So when we first watched it, right, because we didn't get to play it straight away, obviously, we watched this guy play it, and he was doing the level that Dylan was doing, and he was getting destroyed. Yeah. Like, he was sparking out everywhere. And I was like, man, this game looks hard, and this guy is not doing well, so it's hard. Like, what? And then Dylan sits down, nails it. Did not make one mistake. I'm not kidding. There was no mistakes. He raised no suspicion, and the dev was like, "That's like one of the highest scores we've had." Like, the full score I think was out of 1500, and he got like 14.8 or something.
That's so funny.
A useless skill. Yeah,
no,
you know what I mean?
No, that's multitasking, dude. Just push that across to something else.
Oh man, but I really, really enjoyed it, and it was one of those ones. And I hate to admit it, that when we got the email, it was kind of like, if there's time.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was one of the biggest highlights of my day.
Same.
Absolutely. Nice. It was really, really fun. But then, tell us about the second level that you played.
Second level. So, when Dylan did a really good job, he was like, okay, now we're going to make you go to a job interview.
Oh my God.
You're going to nail the job interview.
So basically, Karen for HR has G'd us up for a job interview. Thanks, Karen. And he was like, so we're going to make it harder for you, and we're going to install some upgrades. And so he walks over, and he did the upgrades for us, and he just pulls out our teeth. And we're like, what? So each of your teeth is a little USB, which you can upgrade. Yeah. And so there was...
he dragged one out, and then dragged another one in, and plugged it in.
Yeah.
It was so stupid.
And we had...
I love it.
Three options for upgrades, and we got two. The first one we got to choose between was, do you want to maintain eye contact, or do you want to do eyebrows? We chose eyebrows. And the second one was a smile meter that you have to take care of to see if you're smiling or frowning.
It's like a slider. You move it up or down, happy or sad.
And that level only had top or bottom for happy or sad, but I'm sure it varies between. But man, was that... I mean, it was harder because you started that level and immediately got to half suspicion, and then you were like, and then you started getting like the hang of it, and then you're like, do you want to go? And I played it, and we finished the level. Yeah. But it was like so weird to be like in the middle of a sentence and be like, okay, so eyebrow up, big smile, and his smile like reaches the edges of his face. It's huge, and then it's like tongue out. They're like moving around inside. It's so
oh my God.
It was so good.
It was so good. It was definitely a highlight of my day as well. Yeah. It was so funny.
And the dude there was, he was pretty rad.
He was rad. They had this awesome, I think it was like, it kind of looked like a paper mache head up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with a massive tongue.
Oh yeah, I saw that. What the hell?
You can accidentally like get your tongue stuck outside. I saw this dude, the guy before us that played, he somehow got his jaw up through his other jaw, and I was like, what?
Okay. So you can definitely break the game.
So yes, you certainly can. But with that, he didn't walk up and be like, hey, do you want to hear about the game? Or, hey, do you want a business card? He walked up and was like, hey, do you want a tongue? And I was like, what?
We're like, I want a tongue.
What are we talking about here, champ? What are we going to... Anyway, he gives us the tongue. It's the business card. And then we're watching the gameplay, and he asks us if we wanted a tooth.
You want a tooth?
Yeah, what's with that? Like, what is that for?
I have no words. I have no idea. Like, I have a plastic tooth. What do I do with it?
It's about yay big. We didn't bring it out because you wouldn't be able to see it. Let me just place it against my shirt. This is how big it is. It's.
Oh my god.
Hey.
So glad that wasn't open.
There we go. But here is the tooth.
There we go.
I know you can't see
Give
it.
me that. Let me see. I'm sure the blur will be horrible, but I'll try.
I'm going to bring it up to the...
Wait, tell me how it looks, dudes. Is it...
Keep going, keep going. Yeah. There it is. Is that weird? Yep.
It's
weird.
a hole in it?
It's got a hole.
It's like... it's literally... Like, is this a prosthetic tooth? Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, like...
You can have your tooth back, sir.
Thanks.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was all about, but...
I definitely understand the theme.
Oh,
yeah.
I really don't know what I'm supposed to do with it.
Well, you know what? We're talking about it.
It's true.
True.
We are talking about it.
Maybe that was the intention.
Yeah, you forget about all these games and you're like, oh, what's this tooth? Oh, yeah.
We're talking about
I
this
was
speaking
definitely going to talk
simulator.
about this game anyway because
We're
it was
talking about
amazing.
Speaking Simulator more than Cyberpunk's next. Awesome.
Next up, we had...
A very interesting title.
Which is the perfect time to just bring out some sake because it was very Japanese.
Very true.
Based, so I'll
time
just
for
pop us some sake while you guys get talking on that one.
Easy. So, we checked out a game called Quantum Suicide. Now, you may even see the little...
We've got this little folder thing here.
Little folder.
Let me demonstrate while I pour. We've got some beautiful... Oh, I'll do it a little closer, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Want to talk?
Oh, yeah. So this is Quantum Suicide. Now, it's a genre that I personally haven't explored much before. However, I loved talking to the developer and her fiance at PAX today. So essentially, the game is it's a visual novel.
Visual novel, yeah.
Where you've got plenty of choices to make. But what's cool about it is it's about a spaceship that is going to basically find the next Eden of humanity, or at least Earth is just being destroyed, and they're finding the next place that humanity will take its race,
take its stand.
You know, we're going to
always
set
at war
up
with the universe.
shop. Exactly. Now on the spaceship there is an AI which is essentially had some programming issues, and it's kind of split into this dual being.
Die and I.
So
basically, because I'm the only one that played it, which is fair. And you've got I, who is your classic, like, soft-spoken, very nice, but a bit more robotic AI character.
Who is more interested in the mission of saving humanity and getting them to their destination in order to, find their new home.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then you have Dai, who has red eyes.
Yeah.
And it's more like, classic anime.
Of course.
Anime.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's full anime art style, isn't it? Like,
it is.
Yeah. But
Brazilian artist.
Yeah,
Brazilian artist.
Completely unrelated to anything Japanese.
Dylan, this
right?
one's the biggest, and I know you like sake. Elliot.
Thank you. Cheers to you. Oh, Jesus. And like it's almost like those dating simulator games where it's like a character in front of you on the screen and just a text box.
Yeah.
But it was all voice acted.
It
which
was
cool.
And there was choice of English voice acting or Japanese voice acting.
Yeah.
And
nice touch.
we learnt so much talking to these guys.
Oh yeah.
And
that was so cool.
That was so cool. I listened to the Japanese voice acting.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Now, I'll just talk about the gameplay for a little bit, and then we'll go into what we talked about with the devs.
Yeah.
So gameplay, you start off and you wake up. Well, this is my journey because there was a couple of choices. I woke up and I was like, oh, I don't feel so good. I'm going to go to the kitchen. I go to the kitchen and I eat some rank food off the table. I was like, I'm just going to eat whatever I can eat. And then I feel even worse and I'm like, AI, can you please take me to the doctor? She tells me no. I walk myself to the doctor. He knocks me out with a syringe. And then I wake up later and he's like, it's dinner time. And then I go and meet the rest of the cast. At which point you learn that Dai comes out. That's when you learn about Dai.
Yeah.
And she's like, just reminding you that one of you's going to die tomorrow. And it's just like, excuse me? And they're like, remember you're playing this game. And then it has a full, it stops being in-game.
A dating
where you've got, exactly. It looks like a dating
it
simulator.
Does look like
it really
those
does.
dating
You've got the text
games,
down the bottom and you've got your one character right in front of you. It stops doing that and it gives you like a full screen overview of this game. And the first game that you start off with, I think it's the only one they've advertised, is a card game where there's 10 people on the ship, and everyone gets one card. The higher the card, the better. If you get a 10, you're safe. If you're the lowest card or you don't have a card, you die.
At the end of the week.
At the end of the week, which is one day away. Right. And your character's like, oh yeah, so this person have these cards. And it's suddenly introduced. So I don't know if this is partway through the game or if it's the intro mission or what.
If I can just quickly mention the reason why they're dying and the reason why die is killing them off is because there was some form of crash or accident or something that happened to the ship that resulted in them running out of resources.
Yeah.
So
right, yeah,
it's going against its programming to have to kill humanity, but it has to do so in order to conserve resources. So that's where that split.
I'll explain that split in a second as well. So so then you find out about this card game, and there's different ways to trade cards with one another so that you can get a 10, but all the trading is done through a terminal, and it doesn't tell you what the other person's card is, so they can lie to you or whatever. So it's a relationship building game. And like a lot of the demo that I played was just reading, and I think there was 2 or 3 choices. But you know what? At the end, I was like, man, I really want to play this card murder game. Yeah. Oh, man, I want to trade some cards.
At the end of the demo, like, you got stabbed by...
Oh, dude, at the end of the demo, my waifu stabbed me and then was about to get stabbed by a dark version of her. I guess, like, some sort of fake her, like, whether it's someone dressed up or something like that. It was nuts. Wild. It turned out from being like, oh, I got a kiss from my waifu, we're going to her bedroom, to being like, the knife slid into my guts, and I was like, oh, what?
Jesus.
Yeah.
But with the accident that happened to the ship, it killed the previous captain, and the previous captain gave the AI orders in specific circumstances to do a specific something, and that's what die is. Die is the old captain's orders that they can't overwrite, and I is the one that's trying to do the regular orders.
Yeah.
And so there's the dissonance is there, which is really cool. But the reason they're doing the games is because the AI can't choose, die can't choose who dies.
Yeah.
It has to be. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I also like that dark AI comes out as die.
Yeah.
Very thematic.
It actually looks like, I kind of like the idea of it. Like, I don't mind visual, like, I guess... narrative heavy games. Like, I love narrative heavy games, but I guess the only thing that kind of turns me off is the fact that it is just it's not animated. It's not like it is literally just
image for image.
It's the classic like image smiling. Image sad.
And then red eyes, normal eyes. Like, but it could have a really great story.
It could, and it sounds like it does. The concept in and of itself is quite interesting, and it does dive into elements of the multiverse, because apparently quantum suicide is a concept. I'm not going to dive into it now because clearly I don't have the mental capacity to explain it.
You don't know enough.
I'm not even going to pretend to understand it. But yes, so what it really meant was that there is a timeline system in which you can jump back and forth in some cases.
That's right.
Change your decisions.
Yeah, like a tree.
But I've got to admit,
and you can go back whenever.
I was having a chat to Tom, the fiance of the main developer, Tina, and he was telling me all about it. And then he went and grabbed Tina as well.
Yeah.
God, they were really, really cool. And I've got a lot of admiration and respect for Tina for building this concept and for wanting to push this game forward, because apparently she absolutely loves visual novels, right? And she played literally like all of the ones that she could get her hands on. She played all of them. Yeah. Again and again. And then she's like, you know what? I want something else. Something else is not out there, so I'm going to make it. And I've got a hell of a lot of respect for someone who takes that opportunity and
even
3
how
years later, like, this is happening, right?
So she was just saying like, you were asking about voice actors and stuff, and she's saying like she'd get sent the files and she'd have to, put them in Audacity and edit them and stuff. And like, she had no idea. She'd never done any of that before, but she's just like looking up YouTube videos about like how to obviously probably like compressors and effects and stuff on audio. Yeah. And just kind of learning it on the fly to be in her game. Like, that's sick. That's awesome.
The breadth, the expanse of it has 36 different endings.
Yeah.
You can, like, there's no way you can save everyone, but you can try and, like, manipulate who you do save, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So cool. And also, one other thing that was really cool was she was talking about how there's a doctor character. And the voice actor for the doctor, she was just Googling or YouTubing random stuff and got this audio
It was an audiobook, yeah.
guy. And she was like, his voice is perfect. So she reached out to him and was like, will you be a character? He was like, are you sure? And they worked together for a while, and it was, a bit of a learning curve for him because he's used to just reading, and obviously dictating a somewhat angry character is a bit harder. And then now he's changed like his online identity, and he's like advertising as a voice actor.
Yeah.
Like, she fully changed his career like through this one opportunity that she just decided she would reach out, and he wasn't even sure if he wanted, like, if he would be the dude to do it. That's
cool.
so cool.
Yeah.
And Tom, her fiance, just really randomly, I'll mention, like, he mentioned that he like studied Japanese and he worked at Capcom. Like,
yeah.
Speaking business level Japanese
Yeah.
is not easy. Like, and this dude like went to, he was telling me about how he got into the trade schools and stuff like that to learn video game design, and he worked on like Resident Evil Revelations 2, which is really cool as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, point being, like, they were really cool people, and if you could do them a bit of a favor,
Wishlist their game.
Jump on Steam and please add Quantum Suicide to your wish list. That would mean a lot to them. And let's support them, dude. Aussie devs.
Really, really cool people.
Making cool stuff happen. And if you're going to be attending PAX for day 3 for Sunday, go and check them out.
You know what as well? She was fully cosplaying like the character. That was so cool.
Yeah, she amazing
cosplayed her own character. What a
That's actually
bloody
really cool.
legend.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
oh, so cool.
Support your Aussie devs. Yeah, but awesome. We'll move on, but still, yeah, those guys were rad. I really wish I had got a business card from them, but there you go.
We got the
back.
file. They
I'll
ran
be
out
there
of
tomorrow.
business cards, so
Yeah.
we got the little file thing. I think.
We did?
I think that we got this,
Yeah.
but I think they ran out of business cards, which is why we didn't get one.
Ah, fair enough. But yeah,
We'll
good
see.
stuff. No worries. Moving on to Dead Static Drive.
Which
Static Drive.
looks beautiful.
The art style is dope as we didn't get a chance to actually talk to the guy, but there's a little, what do you call it, little coaster on the table.
What? Yeah, explain this game to me. I wasn't with you for this, so...
Post-apocalyptic?
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Yeah, very pretty. Yeah.
So...
Post-apocalyptic, but like what's the story? What's the
little area that I got to move around in potentially was pretty large, but I'm a dickhead and didn't look around it.
You and driving games.
Yeah, I'm really bad at driving. The driving was fun, but it was really slippery, and I'm bad at driving for one, so it made it really hard. But you can get in your car, and your goals were, it's like, I'm hungry, I should get something to eat, and then also I need to find a restroom, of which I did neither. I ate like a pie and pizza and all that sort of stuff, but my hunger didn't go down. So I'm driving around and I find a gas station, I pop out and I'm like, oh, just chilling around, running into stuff a lot. And this worm dude pops out of the ground. He's like,
what?
Have you ever seen Tremors?
No.
Giant worms in the ground. Yeah.
Just imagine a giant butt worm and it's just
Fresh
like,
and Moors.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure it was like a butt face, and it was like came out of the ground.
Gross.
No, you're chill, dude. It came
I
out
got
of
it
the
all
ground.
too.
Very nice. So this butt worm came out of the ground and tried to munch on me, which was nice. So I drove swiftly away from that and found a chick standing outside near a caravan. I walked up to her and I had to talk to her, and she had some stuff to say. I could gift her stuff if I wanted to, but I went recruit. So I think there's a friendship system in there.
Something about finding other survivors as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So there's a lot of driving in it, but you can also get out and walk around.
You get out. There's a lot of fighting as well. Like, I tried to kick that worm and it did not work out.
No.
So then I went and found a butcher's knife and it worked out a little bit better. And then I found an ambulance, which I thought would probably be a bit better. Like, that's a good idea, I think, in a post-apocalyptic world.
So it was kind of like isometric view, right?
It was, absolutely. The art style was beautiful, man. I loved it. And honestly, that's as much as I know. Like,
we didn't get a chance to talk to the guy.
Yeah, and there wasn't, unfortunately, any information or anything either.
Sure.
There was a control scheme that I could view, And that was all.
That was about it.
But it was really nice, so I kind of want to have another look at that.
Did that say like release date on the poster?
Didn't say anything at all.
Like
No.
No.
We tried to have a chat, but they
were busy.
seemed a little bit busy.
So
boys. After that, we were on our way out to meet up with you guys, and essentially,
got accosted.
We got accosted by a Nintendo employee or a PR person.
Yeah.
I was just like, "Do you guys like The Witcher or Resident Evil?" I was like, as a matter of fact, I do. And he whips open this curtain. He's like, whoosh. He's like, then come on in. And I was like, all right, man, you know how to sell it. So we did. We walked on in, and like I've played Resident Evil 5 many, many times, and I don't need to see it running on the Switch. But I'll tell you what, I really, really, really wanted to see how the hell they could fucking get The Witcher 3 and crunch it onto a little bloody.
We definitely wanted to see Switch up.
Flash card.
And you played it in handheld as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
So,
okay. Dylan, before you say anything more?
Yeah.
Did I not say that it would exceed your expectations?
Yeah, because I think your expectations were incredibly low.
Dude, I was running around saying that it was going to be running at 15 frames per second in 144p. Like, clearly it would be better than that.
I mean, 540p is still pretty abysmal, but
it's not great. But I'll be honest. I got my grubby little hands on it, and so
it did beat your expectations.
Yes, it did exceed my expectations. I'll give it that. However, the Switch that it was on was filthy.
It was filthy, dude.
The screen was disgusting. I had to whip out a microfiber cloth from my bag, and I had to clean it myself. I was like, "Can I clean this, man?" I felt like this is, to be honest, man,
so funny.
Legit, asked him.
This is probably the reason why I've got the freaking PAX plague right now.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
Oh, it's gross. Everyone's
you
getting
only
sick.
wiped the screen, dude. You didn't wipe the handles.
I don't want to.
That's my first mistake.
Should have cleaned down those Joy-Cons.
Yeah. I should have been like literally just putting on hand sanitizer the entire time.
Should just wore gloves.
Was it just the opening of the game?
Okay, so he loaded up a save for the one of them. Then because we filmed it. We changed switches, so we went from this save that would have been in like basically the first starting town, like where you could just free roam a bit.
Yeah, out in the fields.
Then we picked up another switch, and we went to the tutorial, and I was like, it was kind of bad that we did that. But anyway, it was. Look,
what we
playable.
mostly wanted to see was how it ran, and we got to see that. Like
I
know what the rest of the game looks like.
Well.
So
Yeah.
And they did manage to fit. Blood and Wine and the
Hearts of Stone.
Hearts of Stone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, apparently they're special.
One card.
There are special cards. Apparently they're like 32 gigabyte flash cards.
Oh, okay, for sure.
So
it'd be interesting to see like what is it? Is it White Orchard, the first area that you're in? Because like that's a pretty small map in the start of the game. It'd be really interesting to see like Novigrad and
all the moving and all the
people and just like the hustle and bustle of the city kind of thing. Because I think even on PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, there are frame issues in Novigrad.
Oh yeah,
like so it'd be really interesting to see how
they just took the people out.
Switch can handle it.
Yeah, there's just no people there.
There's just less people.
I'll definitely be watching the Digital Foundry video when they do it because I love that shit.
I will admit that like. Some of the textures for like bushes and things like that, they literally look like pixels. They were very much cut down.
Like the only thing that I noticed that I was like, oh, that's not great. Because I did not notice the pixels of the bushes at all, like the pixels of the bushes at all, because that's just like in the side.
I was looking for it.
But I was just trying to see, like, I wanted to play it without like hunting for it sort of thing and just see what it felt like. Sorry for smacking my mic. And I only noticed that like when you lock on and you're trying to like when you're like dodging in and smacking someone and all that sort of stuff, there is a bit of like it's almost like pixel bleed, like it looks like
okay.
Like it was blurry on the edge of the character only, and then their insides and their armor was really smooth, and everything else looked really smooth in terms
like
of the Switch.
All kind of aliasing, like
anti-aliasing.
Yeah, exactly.
On the edges.
It was
a little jagged.
Yeah, it was very jagged and strange.
Which is that's what's going to happen.
Also, can I just say the tutorial fucking sucked because it was like it's like counterattack, but doesn't tell you how to counterattack. I'm like, I've forgotten the buttons. I haven't played in so long.
We were skipping all the stuff though.
Yeah,
you don't want to sit there and waste your time in the demo. Sit
there
and listen to them talk because it's meant to build you into the world. But anyway. one thing I will say is that the camera movement was really smooth. So it's like
Yeah,
I was trying to whip it around a little bit. I wanted to see it jag. I wanted to drop some frames, and it was really smooth.
Yeah.
Screen tearing, anything like that. Like they're pretty good at optimizing their shit.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't sell it if it was shit.
No,
they wouldn't sell it.
Especially
obviously,
Nintendo would be pretty like.
Do they still do the Nintendo seal of quality? Is that still?
No, they do not.
Well, I mean, like.
On their old
actually,
NES games?
No.
I don't know.
But
they've already, like, of the recent games, they were the first to be like Animal Crossing. Everyone's super hyped for it. We're pushing it quite a while to make sure it's good.
And so make sure our staff isn't overworked.
Exactly.
Well. Yeah.
So I feel like, I'm just going to, from that alone, I'm going to give them a little bit more benefit.
Yeah. Also, like, CD Projekt Red, obviously, like, The Witch came out
Yonkies ago.
4 years ago. So it took them quite a while to iron out a lot of the bugs on console to begin with frame issues and just, the game didn't run as well as it does now when it obviously first came out. But I guess that's also helped them, find ways to optimize the game for any system. So it probably runs plays pretty well for what it is. Obviously, it's not going to graphically look as good. But man, like I was saying on the podcast a while back, a month ago or whatever, those bestiaries and stuff and inventory and everything, that's going to be some tiny writing.
Oh, yeah.
Or everything's going to be real chunk.
A lot of scrollies. Yeah. Interestingly enough,
Bestiary, the audiobook, man.
One of the other indies we were talking to, I don't remember who it was, very sorry, but we were talking about how they're coming out on PC, that sort of thing, and they were like, yeah, and we're going to Switch as well, and we're like, oh, that would be like a lot of work, because obviously we have no idea what that's like. And he's like, no, it's actually, they make it really easy. And we're like, oh, okay.
Was that Elden? That might have been Elden. I don't know.
I feel like it was one of the last.
I think it was one of the last ones that we went to.
Yeah.
So, potentially, like, I don't know if that translates from like it's actually easy to port to Switch, or if they have a lot of things in place that help make it easy. So
yeah, cool. Yeah.
Good
guy, Nintendo.
Yeah.
He did mention that like Nintendo want indie games on the platform.
Yeah,
they want that sort of stuff.
There are a lot of little games on the Switch.
He also did mention that it's like it costs more. Like games just have a premium on Nintendo as well. But still, good on him. Supporting the indie devs. The next thing that we checked out, actually, do you want to tell us about what you got up to today?
Yeah, I didn't do much today. I was a little bit worse for wear, you could say.
I think we all are.
However, I did go to the Avengers panel. I didn't stay for the whole thing though. I should have, but yeah, we bailed halfway through. However, got some hot info though. So we've obviously all seen the trailer and the new gameplay stuff that they showed, which is playable at PAX as well. I want to play that tomorrow. I want to feel how those characters feel.
Yeah.
However, what's interesting is there's a sixth character that has been announced.
Interesting.
It is Kamala Khan, who is Ms.
Ms.
Marvel. Yeah, like the new Ms. Marvel.
The new Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, right. And she's she's an Avengers super fan, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely she is.
And she has like big elasto
Her
fists.
power is called, it's not elasto fists, you fool. It's embiggen. That's her power.
I know, but
embiggen.
It's literally, it looks like
it's
elasto fists. Her fists get real big, and her shoes can get real big. And stuff.
She can just.
So she can make things
parts big
of her. Yeah. She can make her parts big.
She can make parts big.
What they said,
and it gives her like strength and stuff as well.
Their explanation of it, I think, the game is so confusing to me because I don't know like how it's going to work with the story, but it's kind of intriguing me a little bit more now. But they were like, she's essentially the protagonist, but you can play as all of them.
She's the protagonist.
Yeah, they said like she. Okay, so there's this company called AIM.
I'm suddenly really interested.
Yeah.
I love Kamala Khan. Like her comic books are really good.
Yeah, after the A-Day shit, San Fran gets fucked up. the Avengers essentially split up and they go off the map, right? So
in the comics, she gets her powers from like this fog that just covers the city one day, and it's like this superpower fog. She gets the superpowers.
Did no one else get it?
I totally don't really remember how that worked out, but
Thanks
potentially. No, dude, I'm bringing it to a point. Can you just calm down? Potentially that huge explosion from A-Day.
No, she already had her powers.
She already had a power at that point?
Yeah. Oh, actually, no, I don't know. But she was at the A-Day celebration.
Yeah,
because
which is why it would make sense that potentially... Because I think they show her in the earlier trailers and people are like, that's Kamala.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, apparently she narrated the original trailer from 2017, so they've been hiding it since then.
Oh, that's cool.
But she writes fan fiction, and she won a competition to be at the A-Day celebration because of her fan fiction, which I think is really cool. Like,
is it smutty?
It would have to be.
There's no other.
Wait, there isn't that? Yeah, there's literally there's no non-smutty fan fiction.
Fan fiction isn't fan fiction unless there's fucking and fisting in fan fiction. I just have to go ahead and drop a bunch of Fs.
All right.
Okay.
If you say so.
So,
who does
anyway.
she ship, though?
So, after A-Day, all that bullshit, Avengers are torn apart, right? Cap's dead. Well,
Rippins dips.
He's
Dip.
gone. And so, again, it's intriguing me. Like, it's 5 years later, and Bruce Banner is essentially stuck in the Hulk form, and he's like all disheveled and shit, and he doesn't want to be back in like Bruce Banner form, and he's got like a beard, and he looks all fucked up.
Well, the Hulk has a beard.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, like he's all disheveled Hulk. Black Widow has gone like rogue, essentially. She's just off on her own.
Classic Black Widow.
Yeah, she's off being a spy and shit, but she's cut all ties with the Avengers. Tony has lost everything. So he's lost his fortune, he's lost his toys, he's lost hope in everything. And obviously Cap's gone. Thor he's just like left Mjolnir behind, and he's just helping humans, but he's like just completely cut ties with everyone. Kamala believes that the whole A-Day thing was like a bit of a conspiracy by this company. Essentially, after this like A-Day event, they shut down any, they're super against superheroes or, superpowers, and people with superpowers have to hide it, and because of them, and they're like sending out robots like kind of to, I guess, keep the peace and like establish order. And they're the big bad of the game. And right. Kamala thinks that they set up what happened on A-Day to make the Avengers look bad, so they could come in and like stake their claim, and like get all this control of the cities. And I don't know if that spreads outside of San Francisco, but so yeah, Kamala thinks it's all like a bit of a conspiracy, and I think that's the main storyline. And I don't understand, like, are you going to be playing as just her or as like the disheveled Avengers? It's unclear, but it's kind of interesting. And so
you left halfway through.
We left halfway through, but the creative director was talking about more in-depth stuff, and so yeah, sorry we left.
That makes me think about like Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is obviously inspired by Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Who used to be Miss Marvel, back in
different namings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
it's confusing.
But yeah, like that's her personal inspiration sort of thing, and her personal hero, and is why she decides to call herself Miss Marvel. So that makes me think that then she would potentially be one of the earlier added characters, maybe that sort of thing. So especially soon as I don't know, like Kamala's such a new
2013, I think.
It's not that new anymore.
But I mean, that's pretty new for a Marvel character.
And for ones that you would put in your main title.
Yeah.
So potentially, if you go back and like, I read them so long ago that I can't remember a lot of it. I know you get Lockjaw, there's the Inhumans and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But AIM sounds familiar, so they might be in the comics.
Oh,
as well.
I think they're probably
a whole heap of tie-in stuff that we could have a look at, and then like once this sort of stuff goes out on YouTube and that sort of thing, I think we're going to get a lot of theories about what the story of the game is. More directed towards.
And it
could be potentially like you start as Kamala and you then start banding everyone together, and as you get more characters, you get to play as different people, which forces you to try out the different characters so then you can be who you want to be in the future, sort of thing.
There's two types of missions apparently as well. So there's hero missions, which are like I think it's single player
story
stuff, and I think they're set missions missions or levels, for lack of a better term, where you are a set character specifically for them. But then there's other ones like they're like squad missions or something like that, where I think you can play them co-op, but you can choose anyone.
Yeah.
And you go off
for Iron Mans or
no, so you can only play one of each.
Oh, lockout.
Because 4 Iron Mans, Iron Men. But so with those you can pick anyone. But they talked about like the loot system and stuff. So
tell me about that.
It's pretty much a looter shooter, right?
Is it the
common uncommon like?
Is it the superhero Destiny that everyone's been saying it is?
Yeah,
like they have the same thing. Like your story missions, you got to do them by yourself, and then you can go play co-op with other people.
So if you're Thor, you're like unlocking new Mjolnirs. Like how the hell does that work? Like,
well, I don't know about like weapons, but your gear, like you have outfits, but you also have
for Mjolnir,
gear.
you might just get a new pommel, pop some more leather on that baby, and put a rune on it.
Yeah, jewel or something like that.
But you have outfits which are like just, I guess, cosmetic, and they're gonna monetize the fuck out of that. And
hell yeah, dude!
And they even said like, a lot of these are earnable in game, but there will be a marketplace. It's like, god damn it!
You know there'll be a marketplace.
Stop talking about the fucking marketplace.
It's a game as a service.
Oh, yeah.
There's a marketplace.
I know.
And like in a way, I totally understand that because games as a service are so much more funding that's needed. But I just still don't like stores.
But I still don't talk about it. Like I don't know. I'm
don't G us up. Don't get us excited to spend more money on the game.
Microtransaction If they don't mention it though, then it's gonna be like,
true.
Why didn't you tell me I couldn't have all my shirts?
You can't win.
Yeah.
But you have your outfits, but you also have gear, which is obviously specific to your character, and that will actually like have attributes, and that's where you're looking at like common, uncommon, rare. Yeah. Ultra rare, whatever.
Exotic.
Legendary, and then he's like, and there's stuff above legendary as well, which I'm guessing
that's
is like
exotic.
Like
prime Ingrams for superheroes, hey?
Yeah,
right.
Your Mjolnirs.
So, I don't know. I don't know how I exactly feel about the game in general, being like, there's so many games.
And I mean,
it could have a really cool story. I like that
the story is very much intriguing from what we've told me, but the gameplay, I'm still not over how lackluster that was for me personally.
Literally not been impressed with this game at any stage of like the media releases for it. Any trailer, any gameplay evidence.
This is why I want to play it tomorrow. Like, I want to get hands on and
surely
judge it for myself.
Let's get our grubby mitts on there, and we can tell you whether or not it's as trash as we think it's going to be.
Yeah. Good goal.
But it is Crystal Dynamics, so like they have pedigree. They're a good studio.
You see this, like we're talking about these indie games before that, like we've got very little idea about, or at least like it's not our usual bag, and we're like hell yeah. But then like a big company like Crystal Dynamics and
we're like boo.
Well, you hold them to a higher standard, because like it's Square Enix,
right?
and
dude,
also
Mandible Manipulator, like Speaking Simulator, cannot be better.
It's perfect.
There is nothing that can be done to improve that game.
And
that was two dudes that were so humble. Anyway, back to
what's crazy about the Avengers game is it's not just Crystal Dynamics. It's Crystal, and then Crystal North or something like that.
Oh,
and not Eidos or whatever it is.
Eidos Montreal as well. And that's it. So it's 3 fucking studios.
I mean, it does look ambitious.
And Eidos, I fucking love Eidos Montreal. Like, give me that fucking Deus Ex shit, though. Stop making Marvel's Avengers. Just make Deus Ex 3. Fuck!
Whoa.
Mankind redivided. All right, cool. Well,
humankind.
We've only got a few more things to talk about, so we might.
We do. We're going to do
a
bit of a
speed
Holy
run.
fuck! It's speed run 9:30.
It is. God. We're ready. We've been going for about an hour and 5 minutes. So
and we got to go get some hot pot. So
we have to get some fucking hot pot. Otherwise, we're gonna die. Okay, cool. We checked out
3 more indie games on the list. First one,
Hot Brass,
and we're gonna check it out again tomorrow.
Oh yeah, was that good?
We only got to watch. We had a good chat.
Okay. Yeah, it's because some fucking plebs like snaked in front of you. We were standing there waiting, and this guy just walks up, and we were talking to the dev guy, and then he's just like, and just like gets in front of it and just takes it. And
I swear I'm invisible today. The amount of times that I was filming, and I'm just like, doing my own thing, and someone just literally just bash into me. Or like the amount of times I've been filming, and there's about this much gap between you and me, Dylan, because I'm trying to keep it nice and condensed, so I'm not impacting everybody else's experience. And people are just like, like bashing in my arm as they walk in the way. And
Disrespect.
So what I had to do was start filming with my leg forward to try and like block that space. Just like, please don't come through. And man, was that uncomfortable, dude. Yeah. My leg hurts so much.
Anyhow, Hot Brass, right?
Sick.
Super, super cool. It's a tactical police top-down shooter, right? So with
not
this...
shooter,
okay, not shooter. Okay, the way it works is...
Screecher?
All right,
okay.
So it's... okay. So I described this as being a mix of, what was it, Rainbow Six Siege and Hotline Miami, and Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah.
Or anything, because you know in Battlefield Hardline, you would be like freeze as a cop, and you have to wait for them to like, I know, deep cut, right? They put their hands up and they'll be like, "Do not shoot me."
And is it like
my tooth?
Your tooth?
Like it's like a flashlight, like
okay.
There's a vision field, but there's also a flashlight.
It depends. Yeah, the flashlight
depends on the level.
That shot was from like a dark environment, but okay. So it's top down. You don't have a character. You play as a circle, and inside of the circle is the weapon that you are using. So, and the thing is, you have a full loadout system. You know, you choose. You know, your primary, secondary, your grenades, all of that sort of stuff. You choose that. But the way that they described it was like, well, if we make a character there, like it's just way harder. Like, it's just weird. It doesn't look right. You don't know what gun you've got. Like, it doesn't really work.
And they didn't want the full, like, UI overlay. Like, they didn't want that. They wanted something a bit simpler.
They want to keep you looking at your character. So, your character is the symbol of what gun you're using. However, like, there's still, like, violence in one. Like, if you shoot someone, you can see the blood splatter and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's all still there.
And the animations are great. Like, when you reload, the gun, like, shakes and, like...
Yeah,
comes down a bit and like shakes around, and then
when you shoot, like there's a sound wave that sort of like comes out around.
Really cool. Can you calm down, boy?
I gotta calm down.
Really
Fucking
cool.
hell.
When you have when you go up to like an enemy and you're like, freeze, get down. And you hear like you can see the sound waves hit them.
Oh, what?
And they can decide whether or not they're surrendering, that sort of thing. If they surrender, their hands like whip up into the circle and they're like hands up. It looks really smooth.
When you arrest them, it's so cool. Like the circle around them, like this awesome little handcuff like animation goes around them as well. Like you've got them. If you're close to them, you can tase them and then you can arrest them. The whole goal is not to kill people. The goal of the game is to
survive and arrest. Yeah,
survive and arrest. So
and and you can just keep shouting like, get down, as you keep getting closer, and they're like, whoa, yeah, I'll get down. Like it's a bit intense.
I'm
like
honestly, and we're gonna do the whole interview thing because it looks quite cool. But unfortunately, we're gonna move right along to Alluri.
Yes. This game, dude. We saw that poster yesterday. The red panda looked super cute.
It's not a fox.
You might think it was a fox, but it's a red panda.
I love red pandas. They're such cool creatures.
R/red pandas is
so I think it was a 3 dev team, 2 in Sydney, 1 in Canberra. Yes. And they all came down. The art is so beautiful, but basically it was the artist's idea, correct?
Yeah.
Artist concept. You play as a red panda, which is an endangered species, and at the start of the game, very emotional. They said it was very inspired by Ori and the Blind Forest. Sick. Your parents disappear, and you got to try and find them, but the forest gets lit on fire, and you've got to escape, sort of thing.
That's pretty much Ori.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
But as you go through the level, you can find all these other endangered species.
What's this game called?
Alluri.
Alluri.
Or Alluri. We'll find out tomorrow.
Okay.
But
yeah, cool.
Yeah, so you can find all these other endangered species. Everything is based off endangered species, even the plants, which is really cool.
Plants and animals.
Yeah,
really cool.
I didn't expect the plants to be like that. But when you go through the tutorial start area, you find this long-eared hopper
little mouse
thing,
thing.
and you go up to it and it's like, sometimes you have to leave something behind. And you could just leave them there, and they fucking burn, dude.
Whoa.
And you find their ghost
What?
later. You find their ghost, dude, because that mouse is actually extinct
in the real world.
In the real world, not endangered.
But I like the representation of that animal being extinct. It is a ghost, even in the marketing materials for it as well. And it was cool. I guess the whole theme is around. One, the extinction of certain animal species, and two, deforestation and the removal of natural habitat for certain animals.
And climate.
And the fact that she's passionate about that, she's decided to tell a story through a game that demonstrates that. And in the same way...
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool with the narrative element
What's
of it
the
as well.
actual, is it a 2D platformer?
It's like Ori.
Yeah,
it's
Ori.
literally like Ori.
Fuck
I haven't
yeah.
played Ori, but it's
Oh
Ori.
my God,
do you
dude.
swing around and stuff? Do you grab
Yeah. Well,
you don't have to swing, you have to shoot instead, but
So
very similar mechanic ideas
So you can
from what we
grapple
saw.
on stuff, you can climb on certain things, you can
There's
jump
boxes
and
that you can
whatnot.
bounce around.
And you can go in and you can
Dude,
find
you
little
have to play
nests
Ori.
of these other... I would love to.
You can find nests of endangered species.
Yeah, and you can play with them.
You can wake them up, make up the mama, and then play with the babies.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
And then this guy that we were looking at was attacking them, and the dev was like, or the composer was like, "Don't attack them! What are you doing?"
Yeah, it was really
They're
funny.
endangered.
Exactly.
But you know what else was really, really cool? And Dylan, I know you liked this. The composer said, we were like, okay, so the game's inspired by Ori. Is the score as well? Because Ori and the Blind Forest is by far one of my favorite game soundtracks ever.
Absolutely.
And he said, not at all. Basically, not really. All of the sounds are very acoustic. In nature until you get the enemies, which are very synthesized, which not only represents obviously the duality there and the opposition,
the
but
artificialness or the
it represents the artificialness as well, and the overall
electronic
arching story of how humanity is creating the issues for these endangered species, and they're the ones that are attacking you.
It's just a
That's
nice little piece of thematic resonance
Yeah.
in terms of both the visual style, the gameplay, as well as the audio.
So you've got enemies. How are you
Enemies looked cool.
do you attack?
You smack, baby.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
smack.
Red Panda smack.
I think he looked like he whips with his tail,
Yeah.
or he might just swipe with his claw.
Yeah, we didn't get to play it.
We didn't get to play it because once again,
Jerks.
someone snaked in.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Smoked it.
Man, this
We'll
media
have to
pass
check-
don't do shit. Seriously, the devs aren't like, yeah, you should check this out. Yeah.
No, a couple of them were we'd be standing there checking stuff out and being like, what are we going to do next? And they'd turn around. I saw, especially that dude from this game, actually. He was looking at our media badges. He was like, and then he started giving us so much information. I was like, oh, sweet. But a couple of times, we'd be looking around and indie devs would turn around and be like, you want to know about our game?
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Pretty
Sick.
cool.
That is
experience.
cool. Yeah.
And then there
I'll
was-
check that out tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Then there was one last game that we had a look at.
Yeah.
Called... We
Gun
believe it was called
Mode.
Gun Mode.
Yeah, I think
it's
it was.
called Gun something, but it's not written on their banner thing.
It was literally hidden. They had, I think, computers and
Or
other stuff.
screens in the way. I
And it was
couldn't
down
see
there. I
it.
was like,
But,
I think that. Okay, this isn't general. Okay, here's just something from the perspective of someone walking around and trying to get information about different booths at PAX, right? If you're gonna have a booth and you want to, especially if you're an indie dev and you want to get people's interest, just always have one screen of gameplay. Just always have gameplay there, because with this particular one, we couldn't see any gameplay at all.
There was
because
one
there was
screen.
a dev that was there explaining the game,
to
to
other
four
people that were
right?
going to play, but they were doing the prelude first, being like, this is what we're working on, blah, 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 which is fine.
But then people walking
just
past
makes it
just see this one
unfortunate for us.
screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, not important, but I thought I'd mention that.
Yeah.
So the game is a first-person shooter, and I like the guy that we were talking to.
Great dude.
Super cool. I really like this guy. He was talking about okay, how do you make a first-person shooter in this day and age, and how do you make it stand out? Because there are literally dime a dozen. So we're like, okay, what's different about this? Okay, all of your characters the bottom half of their body is a ball.
You don't have legs. You got one giant nut.
One giant nut that you roll around on. Which
just
means,
are a giant nut.
Which means like going up a ramp and whatnot is going to be harder, of course, because you're trying to roll uphill. But
you
also
slide around.
You've got momentum, you've got inertia, you've got all of these things that you need to consider.
It's like you're playing on ice, dude.
Slippery.
It was really cool.
Also, the guns, they fired neon lights instead of bullets, so it was kind of cool.
Very identifiable. Each gun has a different color.
Yeah.
So very easy to see what other people are using on you. So, for example, the shotgun was blue and it had like a nice little scatter of neon pellets.
Yeah,
very cool. The game was pretty early. I don't know.
I think they said they were about halfway done. It looked
halfway done.
It looked quite.
In terms of like the gameplay, I'm sure there's things they're still working on, but that's the side that they've been focusing on. Because the guy that we were talking to was the one. He said that his team was like, we don't really want to focus on customization. He was like, give that to me, and he wants to make it incredibly customization, like skins. Change like what you look like, change like if you're wearing hats and stuff, change what the guns look like, and change your ball and stuff so you can be on a beach ball or whatever.
Yeah.
But right now, you are a grey dude on a coloured ball. No, or a coloured dude on a grey ball. Yeah. One way or the other, sliding around with a gun, and as soon as someone shoots you and you die, you just pop out of existence. Like it's very graphically, it's bare bones.
Yeah. For sure.
But it's all there, and they actually were the ones that were saying that they were using it as a huge Q&A session. Yeah. They had 500 flyers that they were using for it.
It was cool to hear that, because it was just like literally every idea that we're getting. Like if it's somewhat decent, we're just going to send it back to the guys in Tassie and get them to...
Yeah, they were the only devs from Launceston here,
yeah,
so
right.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, they said... Well, he said he'd heard some ideas that were so weird and cool that they were like immediately going to implement those. They were like, that's immediately on the list.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Pretty
Free
cool.
game testers.
Exactly, right?
So that was our experience of PAX Rising. Now we are also going to be doing a video about this, almost like a supercut of different interviews talking about different games. We may group them by genre. It depends on how many of those we do tomorrow.
It's going to be a big day tomorrow.
I think... you do have an appointment for Blowfish. I would highly recommend we get an interview with them, because man, they've got so much good shit.
Good dudes too.
Really good people, and they're making waves, man.
Making waves, big time. Blowfish are killing it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that basically sums up our experience of PAX Day 2. We, as we said, we were a bit worse for wear. We could have...
could have optimized the day a bit more.
Yeah.
Back in full form tomorrow.
What time did we start? We got there at like 1 o'clock.
We did. Because we had pancakes super late as well.
Yeah.
Worth it.
What we're going to do
tomorrow
now is we're going to get some hot pot.
Yes.
And we're going
to... can't wait to get some of that good food.
Bed.
And then we're going to sleep. And then we're going to get up and we're going to be up there nice and early.
Yes.
And we're going to take full advantage of the day ahead of us. So
I'm going to play some big games tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
I'm really
spent so much time playing indies.
Yeah.
I want to get my hands on some
big chunky boys.
We're
going to play Medieval.
Yeah, Dylan's really looking forward to Medieval.
I want to play Biomutant.
That's my number one. Biomutant is my number one. Like,
I want to play Bleeding Edge properly.
Yes.
And I want to play Minecraft Dungeons.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I want to play, if I can, Avengers. And I want to see that fucking Death Stranding thing.
I want to see Neo.
But if it's 50 minutes, I don't know.
50 minutes of... I'm pretty sure it's what you can find on YouTube, but you know what? I've been wrong before, so whatever.
Also, there's sometimes it's just like, little bits of extra info that...
Little pieces.
Little cheeky bits of info, mate.
Yeah, righto. Well,
Hot Pot.
It's time for Hot Pot. It's time for us to get our shit together so we can go to bed. But hey, thank you so much for listening to Spawn Respawn's PAX Day 2. We are... out.
Yeah, we're out. That's
Actually, you know what? You might want to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You might want to follow us on Twitter at Spawn Respawn PC and hit us up on at Spawn Respawn on Instagram. And
Facebook
what are we
too.
on Facebook?
Search
same thing.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, that weird one that I always forget.
I just realised we didn't introduce ourselves at the start. So my name's Dylan. That's Kat.
I did realise, but I just left it and we're moving on.
And that's Elliot. So,
Yo, bye.
It's a posthumous. All right. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks. See y'all.